The Aesir. In order to oversee and protect the world, the following warrior gods reside in the citadel Asgard, built among Yggdrasil's highest branches. Odin, Allfather and Father of Ages. After an age of unrest enters the world, he is also known as Valfather, the father of those fallen on the battlefield, father of hosts, father of victory, and by many other names in addition to these. He is a majestic figure. His forehead is high, his eyebrows strongly drawn, his facial features noble, and his gaze thoughtful and brooding. Driven by his thirst for knowledge, he sank one of his own eyes into Mimir's well of wisdom, and thus is one-eyed. He appears with this handicap to human beings when he wants them to know who he is, usually wearing a wide-brimmed hat and wrapped in a loose blue cloak. In his own hall, however, among the gods and the Einherjar, heroes who have died and been received by Odin, he seems handsome and without defect, and, although heavy in thought, he seems so gentle that all gladly look into his awe-inspiring face. His beard extends down over his chest. Odin owns the eight-legged horse Sleipnir, the best of all steeds. He did not always possess this horse, but acquired it through circumstances that shall be told later. Mounted on Sleipnir, and followed by his wolfhounds, Geri and Freki, Odin sometimes hunts by night, riding through the air to cleanse it of harmful creatures called Gifir and Tundridur, spirits of disease belonging to the frost giant race. Odin is the world's protector and the highest ruler of nations and communities. But he is not the sole director of world events. And although he is the most knowledgeable of the gods, it was a long time before his thoughts penetrated the beginning of things and their ultimate purpose. It was for this reason that he was for so long the deep contemplator. Fate has divided the power of the world with him, but reserved the greater share for itself. This unfathomable power has its representatives as the three exalted Dices of fate, Urd and her sisters. It is they, not Odin, who give laws and determine the course of life's events and life's length for those that have selected to live. Nevertheless, Odin retains great privileges, without which he would not be the ruler he is. He, not the Norns, must determine the outcome on the battlefield, grant victory, and designate those who should fall in battle. Without this authority, he could not be the ruler of states and nations when the world enters the age of war. He is also the chief justice of the court that convenes daily near Urd's well and passes judgment on the dead for bliss or for unhappiness, based on their disposition and their actions. He judges sins of weakness mildly. He is inclined to excuse the mistakes of men and women who have not violated the bonds of holy matrimony, and although he warns against excessive drinking, he is patient with those who stare diligently into the drinking horn, when no other faults burden them. But malignant liars, traitors, neathings, adulterers, and desecrators of holy sites, he sentences to just punishment. He loves kindness and hates cruelty, and in his wanderings among people he has tested them, and, already in their lifetime, is disposed toward either a hard-hearted rebuke or a merciful reward. He has given the children of men a good code of ethics. Hail to the giving, he shouts to them outside of whose door a traveler stands hungry and frostbitten. He himself is a seeker of wisdom, who searches worlds and visits hostile giants to find truth. He urges every one to cultivate his intellect. It pleases him when mortals establish friendships and faithfully maintain them. He warns against arrogance, and he would rather a man be poor and self-sufficient than prosperous and dependent. He hates cowardice, and he loves bravery. A man should be merry and cheerful when he goes to meet his death. Odin bears many concerns for the sake of the world and mankind, but surely his heaviest burden is that he himself is not entirely blameless. His greatest comfort is that he fathered the sinless Balder. As long as this innocent god flourished in youthful strength, Odin had no fear for the future of his own power or the world. But when Balder began to fade, Odin was beset by dark misgivings, and when Balder died, Odin became certain of the impending ruin, yet also received some solace. No one knows what he whispered into his dead son's ear. Perhaps it was comforting words that Balder would return and establish a just kingdom. With good intentions, Odin has resorted to means that even he regrets. Therefore, he is not at ease with himself. As gentle as the Asa father is, he nevertheless seems fearsome to many. He, who, wounded with a spear, sacrificed himself for the knowledge that enabled him to become Midgard's creator and the father of the race of man, has thereby set an example for mortals, and he demands that individuals shall give their life for the people when danger threatens. Thus, human beings have been sacrificed to him for the good of the community, and there were those who did not want to give up this practice altogether, even though Odin himself said it is better not to pray at all than to sacrifice excessively, and that he pays attention to the intent of the offering, not the nature of the sacrificial gift. Odin has always been aloof and mysterious to his followers. He can make merry over mead, and even poke fun at himself in front of human beings, but these are mere ripples on the surface of a spirit whose depth is grasped with portentous reverence. Thor, son of Odin and Frigg. No dark mysteries lurk in his character. His character is as clear as a pure spring's water. Thor has broad shoulders and an impressive physique, whose stature and limbs clearly show his enormous strength. None of the gods are as strong. His powerful body sports a youthful head with blond hair and a light downy beard, outlining a face that expresses sincerity, honesty, loyalty, and, notwithstanding, a piercing gaze. Much good humor. That is when he is not angry and riled, which easily occurs when something base or evil irritates him. Thor is the god of thunder, which purifies and refreshes the air. When the atmosphere is stifling and the arid earth longs for rain, he drives his car, drawn by the goats Tangnhostur and Tangrisnir, through water-laden clouds charged with Vafr mists, which flow from Eikthrnir. Then the Vafr mists ignite, becoming bolts of lightning, and the water pours down in fertilizing showers. The tales concerning Thor's hammer and his belt of strength, as well as his many adventures with giants, will be told further on. He is Midgard's defender against the forces of Jotunheim, and is the hard-working farmer's good friend. Thor looks gently on the thrall, who works in the fields and in the forest. Even though the subjugated may be disdained or oppressed by others, Thor is always kindly disposed toward him, and speaks well of him during the judgment on the dead, recommending that his labors be rewarded with the lot of the blessed. Therefore, it is said that Thor has the thralls, but Odin the jarls. Odin loves Thor dearly, for Thor has ever been his father's faithful son. As big and as strong as he is, he requires a lot to eat and drink. Thus his drinking horn is the largest in Asgard. He is married to Sif, who is of elven descent. He has two sons, Modi and Magni, who take after their father. Before he married Sif, he fathered Magni with the giantess Jarnsaxa, who is also of Heimdall's 9 mothers. The unsuspecting Thor long believed that Loki was honest and reliable, since he was Odin's childhood friend and had been accepted into Asgard by him. Like the other gods, Thor was amused by Loki's pranks and whims, and sometimes took him with him on his journeys. But once Thor had been thoroughly deceived by Loki, he lost all faith in him and tolerated him poorly. Balder, a light god, the powerful promoter of the sun disk, whose duty in the order of things, whether on his horse or in his airship Hringhorni, was to safeguard Sol and Mani on their journey across the heavens. Balder, the son of Odin and Frigg, was the tallest of the Aesir, and by far the most incomparably beautiful of the gods. Balder did not care for war. He grieved that it ever arose, and was never known to have raised a weapon against even the most hopeless evil. He was as good and as noble as he was handsome. Thus he was loved and praised by all beings capable of devotion to what is kind-hearted and pure. Conciliatory toward his enemies and inclined towards forgiveness, he was the world's peacemaker and its lenient judge. And when his verdict was severe, there was no hope for the doomed, since his ruling could not be altered or mitigated in any way. Human beings have named the whitest flower after him, because in its whiteness they believe they have found something that resembles the luster of Balder's brow. He is married to the moondice Nanna, daughter of the moon god Nokvi, the ship captain, and had with her the son Forseti. Hodur, a handsome youth but thoughtless in character, violent, easily moved, easily led, and passionate with raging emotions. His behavior depended on whose influence he was under at the time. For a while he allowed Balder to lead him, and made himself worthy of praise. Thereafter he allowed Golvig and Loki to influence him, and committed deeds he deeply regretted. Hodur was abundantly gifted and a great athlete. As a singer and a harp player, he could move any heart and awaken the most varied emotions among his audience: happiness, hate, sorrow, and compassion. A particular mode of song was named after him. As a swimmer and a hand-to-hand combatant, he was unequaled, and he wielded every weapon expertly, even the bow, in which he was surpassed only by Volin's brother Egil, the guardian of Hvergelmir's and Jotunheim's waters, as well as by Egil's son Ul. Forseti, Balder's son, and his living image, the god of justice, shrewd in the settlement of delicate legal questions, and, more than anyone, in a position to reconcile disputes. Bragi, the long-bearded, Valhall's skald and harp player, son of Odin and married to Idun, who keeps the apples of rejuvenation. He looks splendid sitting at the drinking table in Valhall nearest Odin's throne. He prefers to stay close to the mead horn, which is why the derisive Loki once called him a bench ornament, more suitable to be that than a warrior. Bragi is wise and eloquent. At sacrificial feasts in Midgard, it is customary to dedicate the fourth drink to him, after one drinks in honor of Odin, Njord, and Frey. Bragi's cup is called the boasting cup, because on it many vows are made to accomplish some great feat or other worthy of being celebrated by skalds. Vidar, son of Odin and the giantess Grid, he is silent, modestly accepting the lowest seat at the table of the gods in Valhall. He rises up on Odin's command and fills the horn of another, even the contemptible Loki, without seeming insulted by such service. He has a powerful presence, but few suspect just how strong he is. Next to Thor, he is the strongest of the gods. Fewer still suspect that this courageous, silent god will avenge his father in the battle of Ragnarok. Tyr, the son of Odin and a beautiful giantess, who became the giant Hymir's wife. He has been Thor's companion on more than one of his adventurous journeys into Jotunheim, and Thor certainly could not have wished for a braver or more reliable companion. Although not the god of war, he is the god of warriors, who comprise the battle columns of armies, as well as a model of sacrifice for the common good. He demonstrated his boldness and his willingness to sacrifice himself, as shall be told later, when he laid his right hand in the mouth of Fenris Wolf as a pledge and had it bitten off at the wrist. Since then, he fights with his left hand. It can be said that an army without a field commander lacks its right hand and therefore fights left-handed. The model for commanders is Odin, who invented the wedge-shaped battle array, while the soldier's model is Tyr. Odin and Tyr are like two hands that secure victory by working together. Vali, son of Odin, and the sun white, Rind, daughter of Billing, the elf of the sunset glow. He was born to take vengeance on Hodur for Balder's death, which would otherwise have remained unavenged. Only one night old, he fulfilled his duty. These are the gods of the Aesir proper.